All right, people. So I want to make this video to explain to all new investors, whether it be wholesalers, maybe some investors that's been in the game for a little bit, but not quite scaled to the point where they want to be. I want to make this video so you can understand why it is harder to get deals closed nowadays. Here's what happens. I came across this property, 644 Church Street, and the seller is asking $210,000, right? They're asking $210,000, and I pull up the pictures and I look at the property. It doesn't look bad. You need some updates here and there, and then you have to finish the basement out. So then you can account for the entire square footage of the property. Now, I go to the agent and I basically look at my comps. Comps are around like 360 or so, like that. And I know because me and my team have done a new build over there, right? So we go do this property. I look at this, and the agent tells me the reason that the seller is firm on his price and very difficult in coming down on price is because he saw another house that sold that was in worse condition as his and sold for the same price. So she tells me the address. 1975 North Avenue. This also sold for $210,000. Somewhat similar property, right? And I said, let me look into this property a little more. So I pull up the property and I look at the pics here. And this property is complete shit. It's absolutely garbage. It needs a ton of work. It basically needs a full job inside and out. Ain't no telling what else is going on with the property. It needs a lot of work. But to the seller that's a homeowner and not an investor, he's looking at this property and saying, if this sold for $210,000, I know my property that's actually a move-in ready property can sell for $210,000, right? Common sense, that makes perfect sense. So why would the seller come down on the price at all? Here's what makes it difficult. I looked at that property and I said, you know what? I think I know what happened here. So I go to PropStream.
Release the Kraken.
I go to PropStream and I pull up the information on who bought this property and paid $210,000 for a full rehab for a $1,400 home, 1,400 square foot home, where it's going to cost at least $140,000 to rehab this property. And the ARV is 360. Not a big math genius, but 210 plus 130 minimum already puts you at 340, and the ARV is only 360. Nobody's finna put all their money for 20 grand of work, for 20 grand of equity, potentially. That's on the conservative side. That's not including any other costs associated with it, because that rehab cost is a minimum cost. So now I go to PropStream and I look at the owner, Korn Family Investment LLC. Relationship type, company/corporation. I go to the link properties and what do I find? They own 145 properties, total loan amount 3.3, total estimated value 26.5, and portfolio equity is at $23 million. So what does that say? What does that mean? Ray, why are you telling me this? These companies come out here and eat up a lot of properties, and they overpay for a lot of properties, and they basically overinflate the market by force, which is what I like to call a forced inflation. It's not inflation because of supply and demand. Price is not going up because of supply and demand by the nature of how economics is supposed to work. You have these big companies that buy this stuff either for tax write-offs. They buy it, tax write-off would be part of like a 1031 exchange, and maybe they need to put the money into it, or they park in their money and they don't care if they lose the money because they're liquid enough to do so. And so it makes it very hard for the small investors like myself and others to come in here and try to make sense of a property that's already been overpaid. And what's crazy is you've seen a lot of these companies do this and end up having to let the property go to the bank. But it don't matter because they can just bankrupt, foreclose, get it done, and go start something else. They already got the cash they needed at the property and got their cash either on the front end or the back end. So yeah, as you can see, this is one of the reasons why it is harder in this market to actually close deals, because these big corporations like this.